I think when we start with paradigm, when we start using certain paraphernalia, we call it IKS. These are all strategic inroads. This is a vocabulary that we've introduced, but it is important to understand and have a fairly clear idea about how a conceptual idea or a concept turns into a public movement. The first important thing is defining the vocabulary. And I've just drafted this based on the textbook that Mahadevanji and others have written about conceptualizing IKS and clarifying the vocabulary. What do we mean by IKS? All of us need to have a certain fairly well agreed upon definition. So you have the core of Sanatan Dharma, the Chaturdasa Vidyasthana. You have the scientific, the agricultural, the engineering, the wellness, the public administration, the economic dimensions of our learning as well. You think about the other dharmic faiths which have also contributed to this knowledge pool that we have. You think about the wealth of regional literature, regional knowledge systems, folk, tribal knowledge systems that we have. And then you think about the non-literary forms as well, the art forms, the folklore, the oral traditions, just the lived practice that is Bharat. And all of those things together, put together, is what we call the Indian knowledge system. I'd like to make a proposition based on the book that we visualize these things and we have a certain acceptable and accepted vocabulary to engage in. The first thing in any movement is to clarify the vocabulary. Once that happens, you would have certain people who are then picking it up, and you will have a few hero movements in any movement, right? You will have certain people writing a book, composing a poem, coming up with a new education model, and those need to be celebrated. That is the feedback loop that we need to create. We cannot be playing a small micro game here. We need to think about compounding by truly celebrating each other's success and understanding that the end goal is actually a sum total of all the things that we're doing together. So the idea here is that you have the vocabulary, we organize ourselves around it. You have certain entrepreneurial efforts within the university, outside the university, in the industry, and all of those things come together to give us a certain conviction that this is now an established practice.